Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Way of the Hunter. And today, what I want to do, I want to talk to you guys about the possibility of future DLCs and what I think we might be getting, and yeah, just some things that I would like to see added to the game in the future. Now, we're down here in the basement. If you guys have not gotten this far into the story, I apologize, but the game's been out over a month, so I don't feel like there's any huge spoilers, but we need to address the elephant in the room, which is an actual elephant in the room. So these are down here in the basement. You kind of find out that River's mom um, kind of became obsessed with hunting, and she was always like looking for that next big animal, big trophy to hunt. It brought her to Africa, and obviously it brought her to Alaska or the North Pole or the Arctic or somewhere to get this polar bear. But also we have this golden eagle here, or possibly female bald eagle. I'm going to say this is a golden eagle. And for the polar bear and the eagle, I feel like that's one reason a lot of people are kind of thinking Alaska. Also, someone did some data mining and they found in the files of the game several files that say Alaska DLC 1. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that Alaska will be a DLC. And this really makes me think that Africa could be, because we have an elephant head there, we have a rhinoceros horn over here. I mean, these are things that the developers wanted us to see. They purposely put these in the game. I mean, they could have literally put in put in like any animals here. The fact that they chose these specific animals, I mean, you know, here's the deal. If these developers have followed Call of the Wild or any other hunting games at all, they will know that Africa and elephants and rhinos are just a huge thing that people want to see in a hunting game. So I think it would be very, um, I think irresponsible for the devs to kind of tease something like that and then not give it to us. And one of the things that I was thinking about was that the game really revolves around hunting ethically, right? So is it possible to add something like this? And I really think it is, because I feel that if they added an African map, they could continue the story. They could continue the story where River goes to find out like what the hell his mom was up to, where her head was at, and maybe there's a way that they could add into the story that in Africa things are different, right? You can't always judge every country on your country's ethics and their beliefs. Every country has different ones. I mean, like I just found out yesterday through a YouTube channel that in Europe, like the majority of the countries like outlaw bow hunting. They don't find bow hunting ethical, and in here in America, bow hunting is a staple, right? So things are different. So possibly we could go to Africa and they could use it as a teaching moment. They could, do the research and look into it and kind of let everybody who plays this game know what the ethics in Africa are, and what if they implemented something where like we had to buy a special hunting permit to hunt elephants, right? And what if it was like a cooldown period where you buy a permit? Let's say it was like, I don't know, a decent amount of money, maybe like 10, 20 grand to buy an elephant permit, right? And you could get one bull elephant. And then once you get that bull elephant, the permit expires. And then maybe there's a cooldown period. Maybe there's like, you know, an in game, I don't know, week, month, something like that in game before you can buy another permit. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just trying to think of ways that they could put it in there and still be ethical to hunt animals. Maybe it's on an area of land where the elephants are running rampant. You know what I mean? And maybe you're doing it for their own good or something. I don't know. I believe they could figure out a way to implement it, still hold the ethical values, and still give all of us what we would love in the game. Now, me personally, I don't have a lot of interest in hunting animals like elephant, rhinoceros, hippopotamus, or things like that. But you know what? I'm totally cool with it. It is a game. I say, you know, go for it. And I mean, here's another thing I want to talk about. Look at the model. This elephant head is just so well done. I mean, why would they go through such lengths to make this look so amazingly realistic if they didn't have plans on putting this in the game? You know, I would say that the polar bear to me doesn't look as good as that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of looks like Hunter Classic kind of polar bear, but yeah, if it's in the game, man, I'm going to absolutely love it. And the Eagle model looks amazing. And I can't even like begin to think how the hell we would hunt these guys. You know, if this is something that they would even do. I'm thinking probably not. But yeah, so that's where I feel our first two DLC reserves are going to be. Alaska, I think, is a given because it's in the files, and I really do feel that Africa is a good possibility for the second one. I could be wrong. I think it would be a huge mistake on the developer's part to not add Alaska into the game. But yeah, I don't know. Drop in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? After seeing this, do you think the developers would put this much attention to detail into like an elephant model like that for absolutely no reason, just to put it in for kind of the story mission of this game? I really don't think that's the case, but I could be wrong. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. So while we're on the topic of DLC and things I'd like to see added, this game has an incredible render distance, right? I mean, you can see animals over 500 yards away. I mean, people have taken shots of up to 1,000 yards away in this game. So I think one of the things that we need desperately, we need a spotting scope. Um, I'm okay with the binoculars not having a zoom, but I mean, we definitely need a spotting scope. There's just no question about it. There's several things about this game that requires it. First of all, the render distance, right? It's so far away that we can see, and the animals, like right here, I cannot tell, what that is. Now, the way the game works is that you can tell what an animal is a couple ways, right? You can spot them with your binoculars in the hunter sense, and it's going to give you their fitness level, or you can actually, look at them and see physically kind of how old they are with just the coloration of their fur, if there's patches on the fur, what their antlers look like, and stuff like that. So it's just paramount that we get a spotting scope for this game, and I do believe we'll probably end up getting one. I hope we get one sooner rather than later. And I mean, you have to remember, in Ranger mode, you cannot use the Hunter Sense. So in Ranger mode, without having zoomable binoculars or a spotting scope, you are really screwed. There's just no way for you to, you know, really see what an animal is. So it's something we desperately need in the game. Another thing that I would say would be maybe useful is some kind of night vision for those who want to hunt at night. I mean, me personally, I really don't care about hunting at night. When it gets dark, I just skip time. But there are some animals that utilize zones in the dark, and as of right now, hunting at night is almost impossible. Once it gets dark, you cannot see animals for anything. So, yes, some way to spot the animals at night, I think, would be a very good thing to have in the game. So I don't know if that was a good hit. It seemed a little far forward. Where are they going? But as we go to pick him up, obviously, weapons packs, those are always going to be something that people are going to want in the game. Again, for me personally, whatever they bring to the game is fine with me. I'm not a hunter in real life, so it really doesn't matter to me what guns they bring in. I would say as long as they have a good variety, that's going to be great. Of course, I would love to see something like muzzle loaders come to the game. I think they would do a pretty cool job with those. Bows. Absolutely bows. They need to come to the game, but they need to come to the game right. You know what I mean? They need to do them right. So my hope is that if they bring bows into the game, they take the time and they do it the right way. You know, like obviously in this game we have ballistics, and again, like I said, as someone that's not an expert on it, I think the ballistics are fairly good compared to a game like Call of the Wild where they're pretty non-existent. I don't know if it's still called ballistics when it comes to arrows, but I mean, obviously with bow and arrow, you would have to have some kind of same ballistics with the arrows, you know, with drop. And I truly believe that they would have to do something with the wind because the wind in this game can be quite strong. So that would have a huge impact on the use of arrows in this game, and that is not good blood at all. We did hit him too far forward. That's a shame, but it happens. But yeah, I also feel that if they bring bow and arrow into the game, they need to give us like tree stands along with it, or possibly something along with it to make us a little more mobile with the stands. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind where the hunting stands are now, and they seem to work fine. If the hunting stands are near a need zone, you will get animals that come to the hunting stands, but I still think it would be a very cool option to have the tree stands in the game. I know when tree stands came to Call of the Wild, I absolutely loved it. I used the tree stands a lot in that game, and I could definitely use the tree stands a lot in this game, especially if they added in the bows with them. I mean, I can just imagine putting up a tree stand somewhere and, you know, calling in a herd of mule deer or whitetail or something and just taking them out with a bow. It would be an absolutely fantastic experience. I've seen some content creators go on about how if they put bows in the games, it would need to be some kind of, I don't know, they would need a reason to use them, so maybe give us more money or something. I personally feel like just the satisfaction of sitting in a tree stand and calling in that trophy animal and taking out with a bow is reward enough. I mean, it just takes a lot more skill to take an animal out with a bow. It takes a lot more time and patience. You know what I mean? You have to get a lot closer to the animal, or you have to let them get a lot closer to you. So yeah, I mean, I just feel that that would be reward in itself. But I do understand that the gamers out there, they need, they need something more than that. They need to have that gaming fix or something, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I think that would be absolutely amazing. Now, they've also said in the roadmap, new vehicles. Me personally, I don't really care about new vehicles. I would love to see them tweak the Jeep a little bit to give it a little bit more power. I mean, as of right now, I feel like the Jeep is a little bit lacking in the power. Like, obviously, if it's a crazy grade that you're going up, it's going to lose power. But I mean, there's some hills that it goes up that I just feel it loses way too much power on. So vehicle-wise, I would imagine maybe like an ATV or a side-by-side or something like that. I can't really see. I mean, maybe a pickup truck. Possibly. Vehicle-wise, I can't see too many different kinds of vehicles being in a game like this. Horses aren't vehicles, but I mean, I guess if you put them in that category, that's something that people have been wanting in a hunting game for a very long time. I know that the Call of the Wild community has been, saying that for a long time that they would love to see horses in the game. I think the problem with horses is that that's another animal. that they would have to put in the game, and they would have to do it right. Like again, the animations, just the look of the horse, uh, everything about it, they would just have to get so spot on. That if they put it in there and it wasn't, it could literally just ruin the experience. You know what I mean? Because it would just look horrible. So it's something that they would have to do absolutely correct, get it, you know, 100% right. I feel. Let's see here. What else could they do? I mean, I don't feel like boats would be too necessary in this game. It doesn't seem to be too difficult to get around. So, yeah, I would say maybe pickup trucks, side by sides, ATVs, possibly a horse if they could do that right. Although, again, a horse isn't really a vehicle, but it's still a means of transportation. So there's other hunting gear that they mentioned, and what could that be? Obviously, tree stands, tripods, spotting scopes. What else could there be? Maybe like e-collars. I was thinking maybe like bait barrels for bears and hogs. I think that might be a pretty cool addition where you could sort of make your own feed zone and obviously have it on a timer. When the feed runs out, then you have to either refill it or something. Have some mechanic like that in the game. I believe that's similar to what they have in the Hunter Classic. So I definitely see those would all be fantastic additions to the game. Now, also, there's always the possibility of them adding new animals because, I mean, the existing maps are huge, right? These maps are just huge. And in Idaho, they actually have pronghorn in Idaho. So how cool would it be if they added pronghorn to this map somewhere along the line? I don't know if they have bison in Idaho, but if they did, that might be something really cool that they could add later on. And I mean, the possibilities with a game like this, they're truly endless. Um, a dog, a tracking dog would probably be pretty good in this game. Again, they'd have to do it right. They'd have to make sure, they get the animations of the dog right, the look of the dog right, and the actual mechanics of what the dog is supposed to do. They'd have to nail that as well, wouldn't they? But they could do that. I think there's no need for anything like retrievers or anything like that. I think that they do need to do some kind of rework with the waterfowl hunting in this game. I think we're going to do a video later on kind of comparing the waterfowl hunting of this game compared with Call of the Wild, because I did get some questions asking about, what is so good about the Call of the Wild waterfowl hunting and just bird hunting in general, and it really is good. So I think I'll do a comparison video in the near future with that. So let's see here. What else, guys? I have no idea. I mean, as I said, the sky's the limit with this game, literally. I mean, I would like to see them possibly do something with the animal senses, tweak them a little bit more with scent, because as of right now, it feels like the sound you make is the biggest factor in spooking an animal. I mean, once you're close to an animal, if you're standing still, it doesn't matter which way the wind's blowing, it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them at all. I mean, if you go back and watch my last live stream, you can see that we had a herd of whitetail come right into us, and I mean, scent just was never a factor. It's always the sound in the game. So I feel like maybe they could heighten their sense of smell a bit, and then they could add attractants. They could add like deer scents and moose scents and all that, and maybe they could add something to eliminate your scent. I think that would be a pretty decent thing to have in the game. But yeah, guys, drop in the comments, what would you like to see come to the game? And I mean, again, please refrain from saying anything like bug fixes or I want this fixed. Like that's a given. Like I get that. You know what I mean? The devs, they know it. They're working on bug fixes. But I would like to know, what would you guys like to see actually added to the game in the way of DLC? And remember, guys, The devs have already said that the maps are the only things you'll have to pay for. Any weapons or new gear or anything like that that they add to the game is going to be free for everybody. So the only thing you'll ever have to pay for are the map DLCs, which I think is pretty cool. With that being said, guys, that's where we're going to end the video for today. I just wanted to give a quick video of my thoughts on what I'd like to see come to the game, what I think might come to the game in the near future, and kind of just gauge where you guys are at, what you guys would like to see. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time, guys. But until then, happy hunting.